the MonsterVerse is getting another movie, more than likely. And hints are telling us that Kong will star in this future installment in the legendary line of Godzilla and King Kong movies. Until more information is given out to the world, we can only theorize on what this new movie will actually be about. But with Godzilla likely taking a break for a while, we can assume the movie will take place in the heart of the Earth. When Godzilla vs. Kong ended, we saw a Kong who was finally in his true home, invigorated and ready to take on the Hollow Earth and any foes who wanted to challenge him. With the help of Monarch, this vast new world was ready to be explored. The ape is going to need enemies and friends alike in this movie, and an old familiar face from the Godzilla long-lasting legacy may just be the perfect candidate to introduce into this new world. The mutated iguana known as Zilla. Controversial among Super Goji fans or not, this creature is perfectly suited for the Hollow Earth. And the deep lore of the MonsterVerse allows at the very least, a new take on this version of Godzilla, transformed to fit better into the MonsterVerse, to be able to give Kong and Monarch a proper run for their money in the center of the Earth. Remember to follow us over on Instagram if you haven't already, and let's get to it. The Hollow Earth is a vast new land that is roughly the size of a continent. The titans and monsters there are of uber proportions, but a landmass this large, with both the top and bottom being their own separate ecosystems, due to the gravitational wizardry of this fictional area, is more than large enough to support thousands of gigantic creatures. In a way, the Hollow Earth is the spiritual successor to the classic Monster Island that Toho used for their Goji movies over the decades. A place where the monsters can be free and away from mankind. Godzilla vs. Kong was a fun ride of a movie, but the shorter runtime of the flick made it to where the time spent in the Hollow Earth was rushed and not fully fleshed out. Most fans loved this new world and felt a little cheated that we didn't get to see more of this beautiful fictional place. We got to see only a handful of monsters like the Crabs, Warbats, Hellhawks, and Doug, all interesting in their own ways, but for the place that is the origin of Titan life on Earth, it mostly felt like a barren wasteland lacking much life at all. Now remember, this is purely a theory and there's no evidence that Zilla could show up in the next MonsterVerse movie, but let's have some fun with this idea. Zilla would be perfectly adapted to live in this fictional world. The open terrain, tight canyons, lush forests, giant rivers, and whatever the hell this is, floaty rocks, seems like a perfect home for an agile creature like Zilla. Legendary Godzilla is slow and can only sprint for short distances, but Zilla would be able to keep up with Kong stride for stride. In fact, just like the Kongs, a variety of Gojira species inspired by Zilla would be equally as suited for the Hollow Earth. Its smaller size would allow it to move through cramped spaces more easily. Its mobility would allow it to leap from rock to rock or dodge attacks from enemies. The high level of adaptability of this species would fit in perfectly. We've seen how it was able to completely take over a man-made city in just a few days. And its ability to burrow and swim with great ease is something we haven't seen before in the MonsterVerse. On top of that, the vast level of life that has to exist in this world would lead to more than enough food for the creature to devour. A lot of fish. Unlike the major titans, one inspired by Zilla wouldn't be able to feed off radiation or by simply taking power naps like MonsterVerse Godzilla. Speaking of the Big G-Man, we know from the existing lore that his species is much more diverse than we originally thought. Using the Canidae family as an example to help you see the big picture, the family that wolves, foxes, dogs, and all canines are from. Think of Godzilla and Dagon as timber wolves, but there is also Doug, who would be something like a bulldog, and the giant remains with the axe in it would be like a mastiff, and so on. Zilla or something similar would be like a coyote in this fictional world. On an audience level, regardless if you like the movie or TV show that Zilla starred in, the version of the monster is still one of the more successful adaptations of Godzilla, at least in terms of general movie watching audiences. So in both the fictional universe and the film industry, a creature inspired by Zilla would be right at home in the Hollow Earth and the MonsterVerse. I don't think a Zilla-inspired creature would work as a big bad protagonist in this new movie, but it or they could play a role in fleshing out the Hollow Earth with life, and could really help give the movie 10 to 15 minutes worth of badass content. I could see this Zilla creature playing the role of a mini-boss that Kong would have to come in contact with, having an epic 1v1 fight, or maybe even better, Kong having to run away from a dozen of them as he mistakenly stumbled upon a nest. Kong's a badass, but a badass human would still have to run away from a hungry pack of dogs if they were after him. Using this theory, I could see Kong and humanity using the Zilla Swarm as a weapon against the final big threat in the monster movie, leading it to the nest and allowing these subspecies of Godzilla creatures to swoop in and cause some good old-fashioned chaos. So this is why Zilla, or at the very least a creature or creatures inspired by the monster, would more than fit in the future MonsterVerse movie. Remember everyone, this likely won't happen, but now is the time to throw out ideas just in case one of the top dogs at Legendary sees it in time to maybe think, hey, this is a good idea. Do you think Zilla can fit in the MonsterVerse, and do you think Kong would fight them or try to align forces with them? Let us know. For more MonsterVerse theories like this, you know what to do. Subscribe, hit the bell, and become a resident of Dangerville. As always, this has been Jacob, and I will see you all in the next one.